This is Nick with Build Brothers Roofing and Solar. Starting my digital inspection at 24368 Del Alamo Road out here in the estates out here in Ramona. Starting my digital inspection, we typically like to start our inspection underneath the eave of the house because it'll show us, it'll give us a really good idea about what kind of wood damage we can expect. So your eave is going to consist of your fascia board, you have your rafter tails, and then you have your starter board. And the reason why we like to start underneath the eave is that it'll tell us how good of a job the roof is doing as far as protecting the home, and then it'll give us an idea of what kind of wood repair we can find on this project. You can see there's a ton of wood rot going on over here, and I want to point this out too in the back because I want the homeowner to see that this flat roof on this section is failing as well. And then we're going to go ahead and work our way up to the top of the roof also. But you can see over here in this corner, there's a torch down roof that's on top of this. We got a lot of ponding in this section that I'll point out. All this wood is completely rotten. So we're going to have a good amount of fascia that's going to need to be replaced on this project. We'll have some plywood decking that will need to be replaced as well. Wood repair is always that unknown variable for any roofing project. We just really won't know until we tear the roof off. And so that way we'll be able to see exactly how much wood needs to be replaced. But when I see that there's already signs of a good amount of wood rot on the property, then that tells me that there is going to be a good amount of wood repair for this project as well. So we have a couple different roofing systems on this roof. Over here on the garage, we have a TPO roof. TPO is a fantastic product. You can see we have a good amount of ponding that goes on over here. That's okay. This product is meant to withstand that. This will last a good 25, 30 plus years. Now we have the concrete tile. This is a concrete Malibu style tile. I pulled this tile just to show the homeowner what the condition of the underlayment is in. There's a common misconception that the tile is what is protecting the home, when in actuality it is the paper that's protecting the home and the tile is protecting the paper. And so when the paper gets to be this thin and brittle, you can see this stuff is crumbling right now on my fingertips. When it gets to be at this point, that is a telltale sign that the product has gone past its life expectancy. This appears to be the original roof on this home. You can see all the original mortar sealant around these penetrations. You can see how tight these valleys are. Everything's getting clogged up in the valleys. They opened them up a little bit, but I like to see them a little bit more open on this side. You can see all those pine needles starting to accumulate. When that starts to happen, then that water ends up diverting into areas of the roof that it's not supposed to. Over here, we have a torch down section. Now, this is the section that we were just under, and you'll see that the majority of the material is starting to come up along the edges. This stuff is super loose. So obviously if my fingers can get underneath it, then water's going to be getting underneath it as well. You can see we have a good amount of ponding on this material also. This is where that water just accumulates. And when water just sits over time, then it ends up getting into the structure. So this is where all that bad wood was, right there. And you can see how water just sits in this area. So there's a lot of damage going on that section. And then again, you can see everything's just starting to get loosened up. That flat roof over the garage is fine, but I would recommend going ahead and replacing this roof. Now, again, pulled another tile. This tile was already slipped. So I pulled it down a little bit and I was curious. I just lifted it up and you can see the decking right there. So there's pretty much, almost zero overlap that we have on this underlayment. So all these signs are pointing to the fact that we are gonna need to replace this product. You'll also see a nice big chimney with no cricket over here. So that water just gets stuck behind this chimney. So we're going to go ahead and add a cricket to this roof. You can see that they added some mortar just to kind of seal it off, but what ends up happening is that water just sits and sits and sits over time. That water will end up finding its way into the structure. So tile on this roof is actually in pretty good shape. This concrete tile is going to tend to get stronger as it ages. We can go ahead and reuse this tile. This is a perfect candidate for what we call lift and reset. So we're going to go ahead and lift all these tiles up. We're going to get rid of all this old underlayment. We're going to get rid of this torch down material as well. I want to upgrade this material to that TPO material. It's going to help keep this area nice and cool also for the homeowner. But as far as this tile roof goes, we're going to replace the underlayment with a titanium peel and stick underlayment. That comes with a 50-year warranty from Owens Corning. And we're going to back that with our lifetime workmanship warranty. Anybody who gets on this roof, they're going to be one of our own in-house crews. We don't sub anything out, so they're all in-house crews for us. Once that underlayment is complete, installed, we're going to go ahead and install new drip edge along the entire perimeter. So drip edge is a piece of metal that hangs over the fascia, helps protect the wood. You can see we got some sagging going on, so we might have to replace some of those rafters just to ensure that the structural integrity of the roof is where it needs to be. We're also going to be adding some bird stop to stop any kind of critters from getting into those underneath those tiles, any kind of wind-driven rain, or especially out here, any kind of fire embers. Once all that's installed, the original tile goes right back on. And then this homeowner has a new roof that they'll never have to deal with for the next 30, 35 years or so. We're gonna reseal, reflash all these penetrations, gonna get rid of all that original mortar flashing. We're gonna redo all these mortar caps as well. Now, the homeowner does have the opportunity to switch this tile to a new tile roof if they would like. It is not absolutely necessary, but if they are looking to change up the look of the home, then they go ahead and do so. As far as the functionality of the roof goes, the roof will be just as waterproof if we do a lift and reset than it would if we do a new tile roof. That's it for my inspection.